My name is Ramondy Thermidor. I am here today on behalf of Nahse. I serve as a co-chair on the programs committee. I am also the director of the Department of Neurology here at MSK, Memorial Sloan Kettering. I have the pleasure of introducing our executive vice president here at MSK for the hospital, our hospital administrator, Mr. Ned Groves. I am also joined by one of my colleagues, Melvin, McLean, to talk about our institutional membership of Nahse. Thank you so much, Ned, for joining us.
It's my pleasure, Ramondy. It's so good to be here. Wish we were here in person, but it feels like I'm right there with you. So thank you.
And thank you, Melvin, for joining us. Ned, what would you like members of Nahse to know about your organization?
Great question, Ramondy. Thanks. I think I want the members to know we have a strong commitment to our patients and employees to be a more diverse, inclusive, and equitable organization. And we've made some progress, but it's definitely not enough. And so we're trying to do a number of different things to make sure that we can continue progress and really accelerate that progress.
Good morning, Ned, and thanks again for joining us, Ramondy and I. This year has been a real challenging year on many fronts. We have the politics with the presidential election. We have public health issues brought on by COVID-19. And of course, this was the summer of protests, where there were a lot of protests about criminal justice issues, social injustices, brought to the forefront by the Black Lives Matter movement. Can you speak to us briefly on how these social justice discourse have impacted MSK approach and commitment to diversity and inclusion within the organization?
Thanks, Melvin. That's a great question and an important question for our organization. We need to do better. I think it was a wake-up call, I think, to many organizations across the country, not just in healthcare, but all organizations, to say, we've got to do better. We're not representing the underrepresented minority groups or other groups in a way that we absolutely need to. And so just to spend a few minutes on what we're doing as an organization because of the protest, the focus on how we need to make sure that everyone has a voice and truly a voice at the table, no matter what part of or level of the organization. So we have just named Dr. Carol Brown, one of our renowned surgeons and a leader and strong supporter for health equity in cancer care, as our Senior Vice President and Chief Health Equity Officer. We've also made a strong commitment to make sure that our patients that we see are a reflection of those who have cancer in diverse populations. That we want to make sure that if, say, 15 or 20% of Black or Latinx patients who are in our population, that they have cancer, that we see that population. And just as important, to make sure that our staff in all areas of MSK reflect in equal or greater measure those patients that we see, especially where we need to with underrepresented minority groups in our organization.
Great, that was excellent, Ned, to hear that. Let's talk about another slightly different topic. I've been here at MSK now for 20 years. And I've seen significant progress made in our efforts to be more accessible to the broader community. However, I'm sure the reputation still lingers out there in some quarters that MSK is only accessible to a subset, an exclusive subset of the community. How do we go about dispelling this notion?
Yeah, that is definitely a notion that we're aware of, and I think the first thing we have to do is engage as much as possible with our communities and community leaders within our areas that we take care of patients. Regardless of your ethnicity, we will treat you and want to care for you, no matter who you are. You know, I like to say cancer is blind to race, gender, religion, or sexual orientation. And so we want to make sure that everyone understands that we treat everyone who seeks our care. Even if you can't afford us, we'll work with you through our financial assistance programs to make sure you can receive our care. So regardless of who you are, we want to care for you. And so I think we have to double down on our community engagement with leaders and make sure that everyone understands, no matter who you are, if you want the very best cancer care, you should come to MSK.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ned. So true, so profound. Nahse is often referred as the best kept secret in healthcare. Why do you support Nahse? And I'll be a little biased since I am part of the New York regional chapter. Why do you support that chapter in particular?
Well, MSK and thanks for money. MSK and I personally recognize how valuable associations like Nahse are, and especially the New York chapter, who really understands the environment where we take care of our patients. So that's important. That's an important piece there. It's to make sure that we have the very best talent and expertise and continue to support an environment that I think fosters and supports diversity of experience and thought. And Nahse is one of the best ways to do that. And it helps us do that. So it helps us make sure that our leaders are well informed of all that's happening, not only with kind of healthcare specific issues or concerns, but also broader concerns as we've been talking about with diversity of experience and ethnicity and all the different experiences that come from living in different ways within America. So I think that's very important, and having Nahse in the New York chapter to provide that insight and experience is so important. So what I think of is our relationship with Nahse makes MSK and everyone that works or comes here seeking our very best care a better place.
Thank you. Thank you for your time today, Ned, and thank you, Melvin.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all for watching.
Thanks, Ronnie. It was a pleasure, and look forward to a deeper and continued relationship with Nahse. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.